I'm gonna give you this best. Scrub yourself down as much as you can. If you're in the water, like floating in the water, they'll float off. He got hit in the face with some salt water, swallowed it in his eyes, up his nose, and he got pissed at me.
I'm sorry, I lost my temper at the last second.
These are the tales of Boab.
Welcome to Bums on a Boat. What you see here is us putting our expertise to work. It's taken 4 years to learn this awesome trick where you just pull the dinghy out, let the sun bake the barnacles for a few days, and now it's going to be a lot easier to scrape than if we had tried to jump in the water and scrape it, or maybe even pulled it out onto the beach and tried to scrape it right then and there. You can place your bets now. Michael and I are going to race. We're going to draw a line right down the middle. I'm going to get one side, Michael's going to get the other side. We've tried to patch our dinghy twice now. Both were fails. We were losing air every day, had to wake up and pump it. So once we get her nice and cleaned off, we're going to patch it once and for all. At first, our major concern about pulling the dinghy up on the boat was that poor Lola wouldn't have very much room, especially because her bathroom is up on the bow. But we were able to scooch it over just enough. We have this nice little hallway here, and Lola's actually loving it. If you look down here, she's using it as a shade/fort. What do you think, old girl? That's great. That's great. If you're not friends of ours on Facebook, you should probably go and add us. We would love to be your friend, and we actually shared a video. It was a major fail. We tried to film an episode. We got about 5 minutes into it, and we're like, this is not gonna work. It was way weirder than this intro is. It was crazy, and we actually decided to share it with our Facebook friends, and it's just basically an episode fail, but it's probably one of the funniest videos we've ever put out.
Now Joel says we're gonna do a dinghy scrape competition here, but I'm noticing something. Come check it out. There is not an even distribution of barnacles on this pontoon and that pontoon. That pontoon is way worse, way messier. So the only fair way to go about this is probably to do a rock, paper, scissors on who is going to do which side of the dinghy.
All right, let's go. You need the advantage anyway.
Oh, sure. Alright, so that went pretty well. Clearly, I was the big winner. I'm sure you guys could tell. Wasn't much of a competition there. Sorry, Joel. I had the easy side. I had good accessibility. Plus, I'm just really good at scraping. Now, we're going to start patching up this dinghy.
First thing we're going to want to do is clean off the area. Next, we want to sand the area. We have 120 grit. We want to sand the area, and we want to sand the patch. All right, let's do it.
Luckily, we were thinking ahead last time we patched the dinghy, and we got some extra paint brushes. These are what we use, just little disposable cheap things, makes it pretty easy. So we've got our whole kit here. We've got the 2-part Hypalon inflatable boat adhesive from Polymarine. We ordered that online. It's intense stuff. It's been kind of difficult for us to figure out how exactly to work with it, but we're working out the kinks. We've got our Hypalon patch material, our mixing jar. In case anybody hasn't ever used this stuff, just like we hadn't ever used it, we started mixing it in a plastic container like what we mix our epoxy in to begin with, and it melted completely through the container. So glass is our container of choice from here on out. Mixing stick, and I'll see if I can find us a roller.
What do you think?
I think it's time to go.
Got your handy dandy roller.
Got the roller.
So first of all, we didn't use a roller. We just tried to use some scrapers and just spread it out. Second of all, we didn't wait long enough. So you're supposed to put a coat of glue on the dinghy, on the patch, let it sit about 10 minutes, put another coat on each, and then let it sit 10 minutes. We were afraid it was gonna dry before we put them together, so we kind of got quick and jumped the gun. And then we realized...
It's so loud, sorry.
It's okay. We realized like 2 days later when we were in the water that the glue was still like goopy. We did put too much, that was another mistake. And then we didn't roll it out, and we were afraid to we were afraid we'd squish all the glue out from between the patch and the dinghy, and then there would be nothing to hold it together. But that was where 2 of the mistakes we made. So now we're gonna roll the crap out of it.
I feel really pretty good about what I've done so far. The number one reason why you need books and cannonballs on your boat is for stuff like this. You gotta have at least 3 big, heavy books to get the nice, flat, elevated surface. And the cannonball and the little pot is ultra important in order to create that sandwich effect that's gonna keep pressure on the patch while it's curing and drying, and make sure that it forms a nice, tight bond.
All right, so a few of you asked what kind of boat our neighbor has back here. We just met him, his name is Andrew. That is a Brewer 42. Now you know. Beauty.
Beauty. What do you think, old girl? What's going on here? Think you want to go for a swim? No.
Ever since day one, this has always been one of my, if not the least favorite part about the boat. When you're in nice clear water, it's actually kind of fun. But more often than not, when we were in Tampa, when we're here, the water's murky and dark. It's kind of grungy, you can't really see very far. I've always had a fear of the ocean as it is. So when you can't see very far in front of you, it just psychs me out. We have the tide coming in right now. So the tide is rising, water's coming in from the ocean. So it's best case scenario. It's been about 2 hours since the tide's been coming in. Oh, but you just get a lot of creepy crawlies on you, and you're always a little nervous because the water's kind of gross. People don't really swim here very often or ever at all, so I'm gonna send it. The first tool I'm gonna use is this plastic scraper. And I'm really hoping this scraper will just get the barnies off, because it's got brand new anti-fouling, and the way they came off the dinghy, the plastic scraper did just fine. You guys gotta see this. The anti-fouling does a lot. Wait till you see the front shaft with no anti-fouling. Did you understand that? Okay, here we go.
I think for someone who doesn't know Joel all that well, it might be easy to assume that he's fearless. He backflips off of treetops. He jumped from our boat onto a buddy boat in the middle of the ocean to save him. He does crazy things kind of all the time. And I used to think that he didn't have any fears. But what I've learned, what he's told me, and kind of what I've seen from him is that he does actually have a lot of fears. But he also practices like flexing his ability to not let his fears define what he can and cannot do. So it's like a muscle, that reflex where your heart starts pounding and you start telling yourself that you can't do something, or that it's dangerous or that it's a stupid idea, maybe, and maybe it is. But what Joel has gotten really good at is getting to that point and taking the next step and just going beyond. Hey babe.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Oh. All right.
Covered in creepy crawlies?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Just trying to relax.
You're amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I want you to walk.
Is anybody else catching that? I don't know what he's saying, but he seems okay.
Take it here. She's looking pretty good. The hardest part was the propellers. I got it pretty good. Good enough. Michael.
Babe. Here.
GoPro.
I'm gonna give you this brush. Scrub yourself down as much as you can. You get all the creepies off while you're in the water.
Oh. You're still recording. You probably want to.
I know.
Oh. But don't we want to show the viewers all the cool creepy crawlies?
I don't want them on the boat, man. We'll show them. We'll show them. Here.
No, it's okay. Here.
Ooh. Ooh.
Do you see them?
Oh, you see them. Oh, God.
There's really no way, babe. I just need to set them. I need to set this thing.
Just, if you're in the water, like floating in the water, they'll float off.
Babe, they float and they come to this thing.
Well, yeah, I mean...
Michael, I'm telling you, this is...
Babe, just humor me. Humor me. So something happened as Joel was getting ready to come out of the water. He was all done scraping the boat, and I stayed on the boat, of course. I was just kind of cleaning up after our patching the dinghy marathon, sweeping everything up, getting everything put away, making the boat look nice. And I handed him a brush as he was coming back into the water, and I said, oh, try to scrub off all of these creepy crawlies, thinking, okay, that would make it a lot easier for him to get everything off. It would keep the boat nice and clean. It would just, you know, make it better for both of us. But that was the last thing that he wanted right when he was done. He had scraped the whole boat, been in the water as long as he possibly could, and he just wanted out. So he grabbed the brush and he started scrubbing a little bit. Then he got hit in the he got hit in the face with some salt water, swallowed it in his eyes, up his nose, and he got pissed at me. He came back on the boat and needed help getting his wetsuit off, and I wasn't there to help him, and he got super frustrated. And I felt super sad because I failed him, and then I got frustrated. We made some lunch, had a little bit of tension, still kind of having some tension, but we're working through it. And that's just something that happens out here. Luckily not on a daily basis for us. We generally get along pretty well. We're learning to communicate better and better with one another. I just wanted to share that with you guys since you missed out on it. We didn't have the cameras rolling. Thanks for doing the dishes, babe.
You're welcome. Thanks for making a feast.
You're welcome.
It's delicious.
You feeling good?
Yeah, I feel like we were very productive today, and we did the jobs that we weren't 100% looking forward to. I would say we were not looking forward to at all. Any of these jobs, just wake up in the morning, you know what's coming, you enter with the best attitude you can possibly have, and I mean, I felt I did really good, and I was at peace down in the water, having a decent time scraping and pooper on, and I'm sorry I lost my temper at the last second. Everything just went wrong for like 1 minute. It was just 1 minute of ah! You know, and I'm calmed down, I'm over it, and I apologize, and I'm sorry, it really wasn't a big deal. It was just weird timing, and the situation just got a little bit out of hand. I I ripped my mask trying to get it off my face. Beautiful boat life. I had this idea that you can find beauty and ugliness in any situation, in any place. You can focus on the ugly things or the beautiful things, and there's always both in all situations. So we were focusing on trying to find the beauty in today, in scraping the barnacles off and getting the boat all messy and having no space, being in the sun, blah, blah, blah.
So I have a question for you. What was the beauty in us kind of going at each other's throats there? What can we take away from that?
I mean, the beauty is that we're able to communicate and talk through it, and it's not escalating, and that we're able to deal with it.
Lola!
Get him, old girl!
Where's your old girl?
Who is it, old girl? That white robe.
So I'm sitting up here, mulling things over, telling you guys about what happened, trying to work out just exactly what went wrong, and it dawns on me. Usually, the one thing that goes wrong every single time you're gonna have a fight with your partner is that you're hungry. And that's what happened to us. We got so in the zone and we were working so hard that we hadn't ate lunch until like 4 o'clock is when we finally sat down and had lunch after we did the dinghy. Joel scraped the bottom, we cleaned the whole boat, and that was the root of our problems. I think we're gonna close it up here, guys. Ending on kind of a weird but I think happy note. This is a happy ending for us. Productive day.
Productive day, super productive.
We're still in love, even though we had a little fight.
Yes.
Right?
We are.
All right, you guys will just have to wait for next time. Find out if that patch worked on the dinghy.
Yeah, I think it's gonna work great. Stay tuned. See what happens next. Subscribe.
Oh.
Thumbs up.
I'm about to start crying here. The sun is so bright.
Share the video with someone who might appreciate our couple squabble.
Yep. And remember, eat lunch at a decent hour. It'll save your life.
Before 2.
Whew. All right, we gotta go. I'm crying.
Never mind.
Oh.
These are the tales of Moab.
Over here.
Come on, Willie. Pay attention. Focus.
Moab!
Lola dipped.
How come you're so quiet?